many years ago. This world was peaceful and beautiful. Began to speak an unknown voice against the background of a very colorful city, with beautiful houses, where life was raging, people going about their business and relaxing. But one day, reality and fantasy merged into one very cruel reality, said the unknown man in a very dark and mysterious voice, turning this incredible world into a world that is very much like a game. Dungeons and secret realms appeared together, with their hordes of savage monsters who devoured, burned, and destroyed everything and anything in their path. He continued, showing us horrible and bloodthirsty monsters like fearsome and flying dragons, vile and huge worms, incredibly large, cannibal beasts, and other incredible magical creatures that could summon lightning and other elements. This world stood on the brink of total destruction. The voice continued. But humanity will never give up, and will never be defeated, he said proudly. But even in this horror, humans found a way out. Our ancestors took control of these incredible abilities. The evolution of genes provoked a complete rethinking of all works, said the voice, as if showing us illustrations from a history book, with thousands of the strongest soldiers who can and want to defend their homes. They were trained to destroy all the monsters that threatened humans. These people were equal in strength, or even greater, to the magical monsters. The voice continued, watching the magic-wielding people blowing up, burning monsters, or just strengthening their skills with different weapons. The advent of magic and the change of jobs has allowed some cities to survive, he continued to say, showing the revolution in professions and other miscellaneous jobs. Daoqing City, Central Park, in front of the entrance to the nature reserve. But the threat of monsters is still there, so be careful, said an unknown man in a white suit, standing on a circular platform with hieroglyphics in the center, addressing the crowd of people, against the backdrop of the park, with the skyscrapers of the city visible beyond. Do you know why it's like this? The man with glasses continued to speak aggressively. Because not all people have agreed to change their jobs. They can still face nasty monsters. Our professions have 3 categories: combat, support, and lifestyle, he listed to the crowd of people. Despite the fact that the lifestyle profession has been chosen by almost 90% of the world's population, the scientist continued to say as an unknown man in a black and orange suit approached the crowd. But they have no way of defending this world, but by us, the 10%, the world can exist in peace and safety, he finished. The man who approached the crowd had white hair, and not natural orange eyes. He had a scabbard on his belt, in which he had a blade. But suddenly his face became a scowl. A flush beckoned at him. Children, don't you realize your resistance is a waste of time, and a waste of your sister's talent? Said the man in the white suit, addressing the white-haired boy. This world is not protected by you, but it is protected by our group of people, he continued, leading the boy's sister away, covering her eyes, along with an escort of 2 men in black suits. But then the flashback was interrupted by a surprised wiggle from the crowd. Lin Changfeng? Suddenly, everyone turned round to the main character and started whispering about him. Is this the same Lin Changfeng, the genius of the school? Could he have a rare profession? Is he also participating in today's performance evaluation? Is he really here? People kept talking in whispers amongst themselves. Hey everyone, looks like I'm not late, said Lin, with a seemingly unnatural smile on his face, waving his hand. Just then, someone from the crowd wants to come to the front rows, with the words, "Move over! Lin Changfeng, why did you arrive here so early?" shouted a girl with red hair, stepping out of the crowd, shoving the people on her sides away from her. The hero took notice. I thought you got a really terrible profession that you didn't even want to appear in public, she said confidently, pointing her finger at Lin. This girl's name was Chi Yanran. Her profession was a fire mage. There are no terrible professions, there are only terrible people, replied the main character calmly and wisely to her words, closing his eyes while other people didn't realize what was going on. Ha ha! You don't have any friends to make you a team. Your life has failed, don't you think? He continued to confidently mock him, placing her hands at her sides while the protagonist looked at her with a misunderstanding and slightly disdainful look. "It's okay. I had no plans to be on the team," he said, turning his back. "What, going alone, into your first real battle, with a possible fatal outcome?" she said as if worried for him, even she had it written all over her face. "I thought you were going to find a team first, and then go on a mission," he continued. "It's not that big of a problem. Having teams means you share your experience, which means if you get attacked by monsters alone, you can't do anything. Perhaps going alone is the best option, don't you think so?" Lin said calmly, gradually moving away from the crowd. "Lin Changfeng, you really are an idiot. Alright, if something really happens to you, I won't run to save you," she said with a threatening face. "You know, even if you asked me for my permission to let you join my team, I might still let you do it. But still, you're the only genius of our first high school of Daoqing City. You're the only one who could compare to me," she continued to say, discouraging the hero to go alone on the mission. "It's better than having random losers on your team," said Qi as she watched him walk away from the crowd. "Ha! What a genius! He's awakened a profession and doesn't speak. Who knows, maybe mine will be strong his," said the unknown guy with the axe to his friend. "It is after this evaluation of professions that the gap in points will be much bigger, so we should not look at strength but results," replied his friend with glasses. "Is everyone ready? The secret realm has been activated. One step onto this platform and you will be instantly transported to the peripheral area of the secret realm," shouted the scientist or teacher in the white cloak as he watched the platform activate, checking everything was normal on the control panel. "The time limit will be 3 days. If you can reach the 3rd level and possess the minimum skill of a professional, you will become a qualified monster hunter," he continued to say as the whole crowd of people mentally prepared for the task. "I repeat for those sitting in the tank, the time limit is 3 days. Under no circumstances leave the peripheral zone, it is very dangerous," shouted the man in the white cloak, so that all people could hear the rules. "The mission has begun. Now," he announced. And just as the task began, Lin moved with incredible speed, instantly overtaking all the people who were running first, including Qi. "How he pisses me off! He stole the lead from me again," she said with aggression in her eyes. "Why is he so competitive?" Qi complimented her own words. "Since middle school, he's always taken the leading spot, and even now in high school, he has an advantage over Omi," she thought as she tried to catch up with Lin on the stairs. As they ran at an unimaginable speed, they didn't even notice how very far ahead of the crowd they were. "Very fast! How dizzying!" Apparently, Lin Changfeng's profession must not involve physical exertion, because he's running like he always does, said the tired crowd who were barely making their way up the stairs, trying to catch up with the hero and Qi. "Teleportation preparations are almost complete. Prepare to depart for your destination. Arrival location, Holy Forest," spoke the man in the white cloak, looking at Lin, around whom gusts of blue and yellow energy burst out in the air, as if lifting him into the air with incredible power. "Preparations are almost complete. 3, 2, 1, began the countdown of the man in white. "This day has come, the test for a professional monster hunter has begun," thought Lin. "Teleport!" he shouted, and a blue portal opened above him, drawing the hero inside. And when he jumped into it, only his silhouette remained in the portal. The destination is the boundary of the sacred forest, its beautiful green trees with the glare of the sun passing through them, endless areas of untouched land where the forces of nature still rule. "What do you think is the highest level students can get?" asked the scientist, also in a white cloak, to his superior. "Getting level 5 is very good. But among all the participants, there's a girl named Shi Yanran. She's the only one worth paying attention to. Fire mages are rare individuals among other mages. They are good at both offense and defense, because of that they deserve attention. What about Changfeng? One day he awakened his profession, and when he did, an unimaginable celestial phenomenon occurred, Being a necromancer, he became the only martial professional we know of. The man with glasses answered his ward's question. Such celestial phenomena, in the history of mankind, have been few and far between, but the effects have been minor. The investigators have studied one monster he summoned, and their characteristics are about the same as those of level 2 monsters, but slightly better than other humans. The scientist with glasses added, looking after the hero who had arrived in the sacred forest. It's been a long time since we've seen prodigies in our institution, the scholar finished saying. At this time, Lin hid behind a tree because he noticed something in the bushes. It was a red angry rabbit, with equally red and bright eyes. Jumping out of the bushes, the rabbit started screaming with such a bass as if it was a huge bear. That's a wild Huangling rabbit, thought the hero. Perfect timing for this, said Lin, in parallel pulling his blade out of its scabbard. With a filigree and very fast movement, the hero easily defeated this rabbit, chopping it into 2 pieces. Looking at the rabbit's body, Lin received a message. You have defeated the wild Huangling rabbit. You have been credited with 5% combat experience. Huh. If I only attack rabbits, I can raise the first level easily. The protagonist analyzed in his head. My name is Lin Changfeng, newly awakened professional, he introduced himself. In this world, everyone who turns 18 can change their profession in a special tower. After changing their profession, they are given 2 choices. One is to continue living as a normal person. Those who don't like it can become a monster hunter. I chose to become a hunter. It's not because I'm a patriot of humanity. It's because it's a job that pays a lot. The protagonist told us the whole situation, while looking for the so-called experience. It happened because I saw my parents drafted into the service, and they never came back. And then they came and took my sister away, you see, because she had talent, he said, finding another rabbit. I feel like it was my fault. There was nothing I could do. In this world, the law can't protect the people closest to you. So, I have to become stronger. After these words, he activated his ability and in one sharp, magical movement destroyed the wild rabbit. But then the hero noticed something approaching him, something big. It was a giant gray rat of the 2nd difficulty level. It looked more like a human than a rat. A level 2 gray rat, already? Lin thought. In the information we were given, the monsters in this secret realm should be separated by region, and shouldn't appear this fast. He recalled the rules of qualification. Dealing with a level 2 monster in one move isn't that easy, so... After these words, the hero, around his hand, began to summon magical, purple fire. The purple fire, on his hand, intensified. And out of it flew an unknown red entity, with a red cloak, red eyes, and a sharp scythe. Go, exhausted undead, deal with him, Lin said to the summoned creature, pointing at the gray rat. Exhausted undead, level 1 creature. Will do, said the undead, already taking a swing with his scythe. And the rat was not afraid, ready to take this fight. But suddenly, more rats like it started to crawl out from under the ground. What? More rats? Lin thought, moving further away from where the monsters were coming out. Why are there so many level 2 monsters here? The hero asked himself, while parallel dodging the chunks of earth that the monsters threw at him. If other groups faced such opponents, most teams simply wouldn't have a chance to win, spoke the main character as he watched the battle between the creature he summoned and the gray rat. However, he continued, I can summon as many of these creatures as I want, he said, hinting at what kind of battle was about to take place now by making the same purple fire. Ha 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 ha, how weak! I thought he was about to awaken a very rare and powerful profession, or just summon thousands of such monsters. I don't want to be on a team with him, I'd rather find some random person, said the huge crowd of people, looking straight at the main character and the creature he had summoned. For his part, Lin was standing on a huge memorial, with a fire on it. Perhaps he had been placed there on purpose, to humiliate him in front of a huge crowd of people. This undead is equal in strength to a single human. It'll be easier for him to fight without them. And he still wants to go to a prestigious university? He'll be 100% either a janitor or a bum. Continued to recall, the protagonist, these bad memories, in parallel analyzing and considering his characteristics. Beginning Undead. Level 1. Strength 5. He saw reading the characteristic of the undead he was controlling. That kid! I'll go calm him down, with my magic, said Ki. Jamran, don't be so testy, said the teacher, and remembering her reaction to him being in the lead most of the time. Too many fools around me, thought Lin to them, fully researching his stats and characterization. On the main characterization page, where there were items level, strength, skill, intelligence, soul, mana, equipment, his abilities, profession, and who he could summon. But then he noticed the most important thing, which is unlocked just from level 6. I'm not just an undead summoner, he said in his head. I am the ruler of the undead. Rise again, my undead, he shouted, summoning more undead. And from his body, a vortex of purple and energy so strong that the trees around him were nearly ripped out by the roots. His undead began to attack the gray rats. The rats, not expecting so many enemies, took this unequal fight anyway. The undead, with their scythes, cut the rats to pieces, but still some began to run away. Watching this spectacle, the protagonist looked at his stats, where he saw many of the same messages. Your exhausted undead has destroyed a level 2 gray rat. Your exhausted undead has destroyed a level 2 gray rat. So many times, until this line of messages was interrupted by a new one. Your amount of experience has reached 100%. You have been upgraded to level 2. And then from Lin, a bright purple light rushed out, which went all the way up to the heavens, a sign that he had leveled up. One of the gray rats that saw and was distracted by this light was still able to parry the undead strike. That rat swung back with a huge swing of its paw, knocking the undead back a few meters. What? Thought the protagonist, after seeing this. Gray rats don't have, and shouldn't have, the power to throw back an undead of this type, thought Lin with confusion. The rat tensed up, showing its very sharp teeth and straining its veins and muscles. Its wings popped out from its back. The rat changed its appearance a lot, becoming much more horrible and scary. What, a gray rat has bat wings? Could it be that it has also upgraded its level? The hero quickly reasoned while he had time for that. Okay, he said in his head, clenching his hand into a fist. Monsters of the 2nd level and above can be defeated by more opponents, Lin continued to think, whereupon he shouted, Attack him! Pointing his hand at the target, whereupon the entire exterminated undead moved. As long as the undead destroy all the monsters in the way, I'll level up, and supposedly my undead will too. Then I'll definitely pass this monster hunter exam, said the protagonist as he watched the battle between the mutated gray rat and the 3 undead. They were all fighting in the air, swinging their weapons, and waving their sharp claws. Alright, I can still summon more undead, Lin said, looking at how 3 undead were too few for this level of monster. If 3 isn't enough, I can summon 3 more for you, he shouted, summoning more exhausted undead made of purple fire from his hand. The 6 of them surrounded the flying rat, and began to swing their weapons to deliver the final blow. They did so, with incredible force and speed. The undead drove the rat straight into the ground, then a huge fog of dust rose up, through which nothing could be seen. But then the hero realized that something was wrong, and already prepared for the next attack from the rat. He was right. Kicked off the ground with great force, the rat flew straight at him, already pushing forward when it was about to sink its teeth into Lin's body. Flying right at me? Very reasonable, for such a creature, said the protagonist with a calm voice, already conjuring purple fire, preparing to take the blow. Around the protagonist's eyes appeared a black mask, or something similar to it, emerged from Lin's hand, releasing an energy that had never before manifested in him. Here, and your end has come, he said as he continued to focus the violet spell on the rat. Soul eating, works within a 5-meter radius, can have multiple targets. This is what the main character read on his list of abilities. The rat falls as if under hypnosis, a huge number of black hands touching its body, revealing its worst nightmares and fears. Evil spirits that watch this rat from all sides, taunting it. "Obey me," the spirits say on Lin's behalf. The rat is already starting to go mad. An unknown eye-shaped mark appears on its forehead. "Is that a seal?" thought the protagonist, seeing it through the spirit's eyes. But then suddenly, because this seal manifested, the rat's head just exploded like a balloon, pieces of it flying off in different directions. Did it self-destruct? Lin thought as he looked at this terrifying sight. The soul-eating ability allows you to subdue consciousness within a 5-meter radius. But there was something in his consciousness that was similar to my ability. Something didn't allow me to subdue the rat's consciousness, so someone subdued it before I did. The protagonist analyzed the situation, looking at the monster's breathless body. He received a message. "You have destroyed a level 4 flying gray rat. Oh well, for me level up is paramount. I have to get to level 6 at any cost." He thought, remembering the ability at that level. Secret ability, Ruler of the Undead, opens at level 6. "Sister, wait just a little longer, I'll find you soon," said Lin, rushing even further into the depths of the forest, along with his undead. Somewhere in another part of the sacred forest. "Use the shield of war. Hold it back, or push it away," shouted the healer girl to her partner, because a huge fierce wild boar was running at them, which exactly at that second would crash into that shield with a distinctive sound. "It has a very huge strength. How much more do I have to hold on? I won't be able to hold on for long," the guy said, while holding back the huge boar with his shield. "Wait a little while, I'll try to increase your stamina and strength," she said, folding her hands together, from which green healing and strengthening power was released. "Flaming fist!" shouted Ki, who set her fist on fire with magic. She punched that fist into the air, and with incredible force, the fire, gradually intensifying, headed towards the boar, which only managed to emit a squeak, roasting it. "Your team has defeated a level 3 Iron Claw boar," came the message to the entire team. "Huh! Done," said Ki while everyone else looked at the burning boar. Another message came to them. "Your experience has reached 100%. Your level has been upgraded to level 2. It took a lot of effort to defeat the monster, but in the end, we did it. I think our team is the only one that can defeat a level 3 monster on the first day. Good thing we have a lot of recovery potions. Even though I'm a healer, I wouldn't have enough mana," said the girl, turning to Ki with admiration in her voice. "Huh! Level 3 monsters are nothing. After the test, we can easily handle a level 5 monster," Ki said proudly, clasping her hands in front of her, looking at her status that said she was already level 2. In order to defeat a monster with a higher level, one must first think of a strategy and then act. In order to defeat a level 5 monster, we need to have at least a level 5 damage repair speciality, and 2 similar assistants, only already level 4, said Xiaoyan, a level 2 healer, having learned all the strategies from memory. "Actually, all I need is to reach level 3. My family just wants me to be able to earn money," replied to her words, with a hint of guilt, Aji, level 2 shield tank. But then suddenly an earthquake started, leaves started falling from the trees, branches started breaking against each other. "What's going on?" Xiaoyan asked loudly. "Why did the earthquake start so suddenly?" supplemented he, barely standing on his feet. "No, it doesn't look like an earthquake. It feels like something is coming," replied Ki, looking around. Suddenly, a particle of a boulder appeared from the trees. And then toppling the trees, this boulder turned out to be a huge stone golem, level 6. The team was shocked by what they saw. "It's a level 6 monster," shouted Ki, looking at it with a twinge of fear in her eyes. "We have to get out of here fast. It spotted us, we might still have time to escape," Aji said, preparing to already leave the epicenter of events. But Xiaoyan fell to the ground. My legs won't listen to me," she said with a trembling voice, sitting on the ground. There was terror in her eyes. She looked at that monster and couldn't move. Qi and Aji took notice and quickly ran towards her. As the stone golem moved towards Xiaoyan in a slow but steady manner, she screamed, asking for help. But then the golem noticed. It noticed that her comrades had managed to run up to her. "Xiaoyan!" shouted Qi. "I'm here," said Aji, placing a reinforced shield in front of the frightened Xiaoyan. "Don't be afraid. You'll have to face creatures like this in the future," he said, reassuring her. "Mom, Dad, don't worry. I'll become a professional monster hunter and help you pay the communal rent. It's only a matter of time," said Ajay as he left the house for his exam. "Just take care of yourself," said his mum. "Look at my armor. I'm safe enough as it is. Where more to go?" With a laugh, he replied to her words. "I don't want to go back," Aji shouted, pounding his fist on the ground. "Only 10% of the Earth's population protect it, and I want to be one of those 10%, he added, slipping Xiaoyan under his shield. But then the golem, without a second thought, swung his arm and struck straight at them, raising a huge column of dust. "Aji! Xiaoyan!" shouted Qi, looking at the spot where the golem had hit with horror, almost crying. The golem was stopped by something. Raising his arm a little, he noticed that the main character's exsanguinated undead had stopped his very heavy arm with a single slash, protecting the people who were sitting under the shield. "What is it? Another monster?" Aji asked, looking surprised, along with Xiaoyan, at the red-cloaked undead. "I don't think so," said Lin behind Qi's back, who was in no way expecting to see him specifically. "Lin Changfeng? And you're here by what miracle?" she asked in surprise. "Protecting what you want to protect," said the hero, whereupon he ordered the undead to destroy the golem. The undead started to unwind its scythe with so much force that it even flew like a helicopter, shattering the golem's whole arm with its weapon, which shattered into small pebbles in different directions. "Desire to become a professional monster hunter," he added at the end. "What? Defeating a level 6 monster with just one creature?" Qi thought with surprise as she watched the exhausted undead already preparing to deliver a decisive blow to the golem, who was already afraid to fight the undead, especially without a second hand. But still the stone golem manages to escape into the depths of the forest, hiding behind the trees. "Lin Changfeng, what did that Scarlet Reaper just do?" Pointing her finger at the undead, she turned round to where Lin was standing and saw no one else. "What? Where did it go? Is this the same creature that Lin Changfeng summoned when he switched professions?" She recalled the stories of her acquaintances. "It's so easy to defeat level 6 monsters. Could it be that it's hiding its true strength? Lin Changfeng, what level are you really at?" She continued to think as she looked at the departing golem and clenched her fist, either out of envy or because she wanted to know the truth. After Qi couldn't see the main character anywhere, she immediately ran to Aji and Xiaoyan. "Are you guys okay in there?" she asked loudly, running up to her comrades. "Reporting, we're all fine, but I look like I need a new pair of trousers," Aji said, in a voice as if he was serious. Xiaoyan stealthily tried to move away from him a little at a time, with a wary expression on her face. "I'm just kidding," Aji explained to her, in a guilty voice. But their conversation was interrupted by Qi as soon as she approached them. "Have you seen Lin Changfeng?" she said in a very serious voice. "Yeah, we saw him. He ran after that stone golem deep into the forest," replied Aji, already calming down his voice while Xiaoyan was still hiding behind his back. "That level 6 monster was already seriously damaged by some other very strong Reaper-like monster. He ran to finish it off?" Xiaoyan recounted everything she saw. "That's right, it was a level 6 monster. It will give you a lot of experience for it," added Aji to her words. "You guys were at the profession awakening ceremony, right? You remember which profession Lin Changfeng awakened?" she said angrily at them, causing them to listen to the whole thing. "I only remember that he's an undead summoner," in a misunderstood voice, looking at Xiaoyan. "Yes, I also remember that he's an undead summoner," also in an incomprehensible voice, she added. What? In unison, they shouted in surprise. I certainly hate to assume, but perhaps Lin Changfeng is stronger than we can imagine, she said, looking at the fallen forest by the golem. Higher level monsters are subject to stricter movement restrictions. Level 6 monsters can't leave a certain area, said Lin as he chased after the stone golem. The violet energy of the protagonist surrounds the golem, and it allows the monster to catch up. And not only have you gone far away, you're also trying to hide from me, said the hero as he caught up with the golem. Who gives you commands? Lin asked. But the monster only shouted in response, thinking it would scare him. Okay, what am I doing? You can't talk anyway. Then this is the perfect time to try out your new spell, he said as he exhaled and closed his eyes. The next moment he shouted, Memory reading! He opened his eyes and looked into the red eyes of the golem. Who has broken my bond with my puppets? Some unknown low voice sitting in the depths of the dark cave began to speak. This group of people was able to connect a real expert this time. He continued as the echo of his voice echoed throughout the entire dawns of this cave. Shangxia, let him see me. Halt, human, under my power and authority, you will become one of my subordinates, just like the other pathetic, stupid humans, said a black, unknowable creature that had a seal on its body in the shape of an eye. This creature had the same red eyes and red mouth, with horns growing from its shoulders, if I may say so. This is the same seal I've seen before, thought the main character with purple eyes as he continued to listen to this monster. Are you the man who killed most of my generals? The monster asked, taking control of the golem's body. The same eye-shaped seal appeared on its forehead, and an eerie aura immediately began to waft from it. The protagonist paid attention to it, and stopped reading his mind. It seems like you're the one hiding behind all this? Lin asked with an aggressive face, already preparing to confront the monster. Just a level 5 human able to defeat Shangxiao? Is it because you have abilities that can drive me crazy? The creature asked, revealing to the hero that it knew all of his abilities. I won't be affected by your abilities. I am the highest level monster, continued the creature threateningly. You mean if I destroy you, you'll give me a lot of experience, said the protagonist smugly, looking into the creature's eyes without fear. Ha 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 ha. Man, do you really think you can defeat the strongest monster right now? Just wait a little bit, my brilliant and great plan will soon be fulfilled. When I rule the human world, you and your friends will be standing in my living corner, said the monster with a laugh, leaning towards the protagonist. He tried to knock the hero down with his breath as a taunt, but he wasn't a fool. What did you just say? Lin said angrily, clenching his hand into a fist. Lin quickly conjured an undead that still came out of his hand, and that in turn, with its very sharp scythe, instantly chopped the golem's head into 2 pieces, so that the huge block flew far away from the second part. I hate it when people around me underestimate me, much less monsters like you, said the main character, looking with a very contemptuous look at the top of the head the creature was still talking to. Do you really think that killing one level 6 monster can get you any closer to an equal battle with me? One day, I will prove that all your attempts are in vain, said the monster's voice, gradually fading away. In front of Lin, a message. Your exhausted undead has destroyed a level 6 stone golem, popped up, and immediately after this message, a second message came up. Your experience has reached 100%, you have been upgraded to level 6. Followed by a third message. You have reached the next reward. Activate the Undead Lord's skill. After activating this skill, the protagonist immediately flew into the air. He was surrounded by a vortex of black and purple mist, which was absorbed by Lin's body. His eyes began to glow with an incredibly bright light. Through this vortex, almost nothing could be seen. The group on Qi, Xiaoyan, and Aji were following the golem's trail to find the hero. Where did that black mist come from? Xiaoyan asked, looking around. I don't know what kind of fog it is, be careful, stay together, replied to her words Qi. But suddenly they saw something. Huh! Isn't that? All of them were horrified by what they saw. In front of them stood the huge black dragon that Lin had summoned. This dragon had a similar aura as that creature, with sharp teeth and silky fur. But suddenly, instead of the dragon, a human appeared in front of him. "So it's true, Emperor," said the hero with a surprised face, not taking his eyes off of this man. "Look! What's that in the sky? It looks like a giant dragon. Is it a monster attack?" said various people in the town, looking up at the night sky, seeing that same black dragon with purple mist, or as the hero called it, the Emperor. In the morning, many people went to the TV to watch the news. After reading the news, they couldn't believe their eyes. "No way! Our mountain and sea cities are very heavily fortified and defended by monster hunters. There's no way they can capture us. Perhaps we should take shelter in this city just in case." Behind all this news and negotiations between people, an unknown girl with light green hair, a white jacket with seams on the sleeves, a hat and different boots was listening. It was immediately obvious that she stood out from the crowd. "Wow, a second awakening? Our classmates from Daoqing High School aren't so bad after all," she thought as she adjusted her hat and smiled, turning around. "It's a shame we had to leave the city. I would have loved to meet up with my classmates from Daoqing," she added, quietly going about her business while the rest of the people were following the news closely. "How's the robot coming along? Is it not ready yet?" the scientist asked his superior, standing in a booth near the portal platform. "This is the first manifestation of the second awakening in the Xia's Daichin Bureau. We must find it as soon as possible. And if it's confirmed, we can finally get promoted and go to a more important branch," he continued, looking at the worried supervisor. "Strange, normally activating the spatial portal should open the passage to the secret realm instantly, but now something is blocking it," said the man with glasses, not knowing what to do. "We've tried every method possible, but the portal to the secret realm just isn't responding," he said, putting his hands on the emergency panel. "Could this be due to the abnormal energy caused by the second awakening that caused the portal to the secret realm to fail to open?" asked his assistant, who was also starting to get worried, and pressing all the buttons that are responsible for activating the portal. "I know what to do. This isn't normal. It looks like the portal to the secret realm is closing forever," said the scientist with glasses. "They can't do anything about it. As soon as the blue portal opens, it instantly closes, putting the scientists in a hopeless situation." But in the secret realm, somewhere underground, a huge number of monsters had gathered and stood beside a large pillar of red light. "The great sacrifice is finally over," said the very creature that was taking control of the stone golem. "These humans will no longer be able to resist us." With these words, he raises the morale of the other monsters of different levels. They are just waiting for the order to attack the humans in the sacred forest, and will immediately follow it. It turns out this pillar is a huge portal to the sacred forest, which is capable of carrying a huge amount of living organisms. "Go, my servants! Not a single one of us can be defeated. Catch all of these people," said the main monster as he watched dozens if not hundreds of monsters enter this portal. "You've already gained level 3 so quickly? Shang, I didn't expect your profession to be so strong," said the unknown guy to his friend. "Pfft. Everyone thinks that Qi Yanran's group is the strongest, but they all don't expect me to be a wolf in sheep's clothing," replied his friend. Just then, one of the group turned around because he noticed something. It was a huge green monster, with an equally large wooden club. He was sitting in ambush, specially waiting for people. Now the whole group was paying attention to it. The level 6 ogre moved from its position and started running straight at them, making deafeningly loud noises. What is that? A level 6M monster?" said one of them, in a very frightened voice, while the rest of them just stayed silent and stared at the monster. They started running away from it, screaming for help. These screams seemed to be heard throughout the forest. The other groups were having trouble too. Another monster appeared out of nowhere. This time it was a large purple snake, which had already managed to pick up one member of the group. And that one grabbed a knife while screaming in fear and tried to cut the snake's torso. The other group was surrounded by a pack of red wolves. What's going on? Why are the big level monsters attacking us? It's not like we haven't traveled far into the depths of the secret realm? Thought one of the group as his mates fought off the wolves. The third group had no luck at all. Help! Help us! Ah! They shouted, but they were heard too quietly, because a huge nasty spider, with disgusting legs, had tied them into cocoons, made of a very strong web, making it impossible for them to cut it from the inside. Meanwhile, on the teleport platform to the secret realm, what could have gone wrong? Shouted the assistant scientist with glasses as he looks at the platform and the special laptop, with a very worried look. It couldn't close, that's impossible, he replied. How can a portal to the secret realm close in the first place? The assistant added another question. Honestly, I don't know how it could close either, but I can tell you that there is a force in the secret realm that blocks the power of the spatial stones, which is exactly what opens the portal, said the scientist with glasses examining the platform itself. The spatial stone is the only thing that can open the portal to the secret realm, so all the students in the secret realm won't be able to get out, he added as he continued to try to do something to make the portal work properly. So what you're saying is that we lost a genius that could have gotten us promotions and pay raises, and they're all trapped in the secret realm? With a tense and drippingly threatening look, the aide said. We're powerless in this situation. There's nothing we can do anymore, said the scientist with glasses. Looking at the inlaid stones of the floor space in the form of hieroglyphics, he said, We have the only hope. We have to believe that the people who are inside the secret realm will be able to defeat the Monster King before he finds them first. The Undead Ruler ability study has been finalized. The messages to the protagonist began to arrive. Profession has finally been changed to Undead Summoner, came the second message. But then, already his messages began to say, Received unique active ability, Summoner's Power, and then another voiced. Received unique active ability, Indestructible Will. Opening his eyes, Lin thought. Voice? The protagonist noticed that he wasn't where he had passed out. Looking around, the voice continued speaking, describing his new abilities. Summoner's Power. All summoned creatures that obeyed your commands have been improved tenfold. And all abilities have been adjusted to your level. He finished talking about the first ability. Unbreakable Will. The damage you take in battle will be transferred to the creatures you summon. The summoned entities are infinite. You are immortal. The unknown voice finished narrating. Who's talking? Lin asked confusedly. I am the spirit of the Divine Level Profession system. Every person who awakens a Divine Level Profession will automatically be connected to the spirit. The unknown voice introduced itself. A Divine Level Spirit? The hero interjected. Yes, that's right. My name is Fallen Angel. The system answered him. Walking through a new mountainous area, the protagonist asked this system about everything. Fallen Angel? Can others hear your voice? Lin asked. No, only the rulers of the undead can hear, communicate, and control me, replied the Fallen Angel. And what are the commands for that? And what can you do anyway? Spoke the hero, no longer worried that he was elsewhere. With your direct orders, I can scan an area within a 500-meter radius, and that's not all. May I begin the scanning process? Said the system, about its capabilities. Fallen Angel's abilities depend directly on my level, thought the main character, then said. Begin scanning. Scanning complete. 4 life forms have been detected within a 500-meter radius, said the Fallen Angel system. About the successful completion, ordered the main character. 3 of them are possibly Qi Yanran and her teammates. And the 4th? Perhaps they have met the enemy? Lin thought, looking towards those life forms. Can you be more specific? He asked the Fallen Angel. I can't distinguish life forms by their aspects. But you can use the power of the vengeful spirit of the undead to learn the details, she explained to the hero. Vengeful undead spirit? That's a vengeful undead spirit that has upgraded its level? Clarified her about his new ability. And then the protagonist began to summon these new undead. they became much larger in size. Their cloaks changed color from cranium to brown. But what didn't change was their appearance. They still flew out of the purple mist around the hero's hand. Calling out to them, Lin said in a serious and calm voice, "Search this area!" He showed his hand in which direction they should go to find Qi and her team. The vengeful undead souls immediately went to different directions in the forest. This undead could fly, just like its previous vengeful soul version. "Okay, while they're looking, I have time to try out a new ability," said the hero sitting down on the floor, watching where his summoned creatures went. He closed his eyes to focus on his new ability. And almost at the same moment he took control of the summoned undead, changing their red glowing eyes to his human yellow ones. "That wasn't hard," said Lin in the undead's voice. "Oh, so this is long-range perception?" the hero asked to himself, examining the undead's bone hands, moving his basic arms. "This is different from when I could only give orders. Now I in their body can project all my orders by transmigrating into any of my summoned undead," he continued to think as he continued to examine the undead. "In other words, these undead can be considered my messengers through whom I can speak," he added. "Okay, no time for questions. We need to find Qi and her team," said Lin as the undead flew to look for the battlefield. He was surprised to see this battlefield. There's fire burning from the broken ground? There was a Yenren team here at any rate. But where are they? He asked, looking around. "Fallen angel, can you reskin this area for living creatures?" The hero continued to speak, in a husky undead voice. "Scanning. The number of living organisms in this sector is 0", said the divine level system. 0? There were 4 life forms about a minute ago. How could they disappear so quickly? Lin thought anxiously as he opened his real eyes. They left this area? But their speed in the unknown forest shouldn't be that fast. He continued to analyze. Regardless of who wins the battle, there should have been at least some signs of retreat. There aren't even any boot marks anywhere. It's like they fell underground. The hero reasoned as he walked down the path in undead consciousness. This path was completely in smoke, cracks in the ground, fallen trees, and a huge moat. No, people can't just disappear. There must have been a reason for their disappearance. Perhaps the reason is because they met a monster. He spoke in his head, running to find the missing team that the summoned creatures had reported to him. But Qi Yenren has a rare profession, a battle fire mage. Only low-level monsters exist on the borders of the secret realm. She wouldn't be able to lose, and there's no way she would have framed her team. He continued to think, while jumping over huge fallen trees and other debris. Really? You think you can beat me? This place can be destroyed by you. Just wait until I realize my great plan. When I rule the human world, you and your comrades will be standing in my living corner. Lin recalled the words of that black being who had taken control of the stone golem and was placing a purple seal on his servants. That creature! The protagonist stopped and said, figuring it all out. From the looks of it, the way it's talking, it must be the secret realm, completely controlled by it, said Lin, climbing up the hill. Ruling the human world, great plan. What is this cunning creature really up to, and what is it going to do? After these words echoed in the protagonist's mind, he began to summon the undead again, making again a source of purple mist from his hand, and while the undead began to come out of the ground, the protagonist said, If his target is the people in the secret realm, then he will come for me soon, and will search this forest well. And to make sure that I don't have to wait long for him to attack me, I'd better take the initiative. More than 100, or even more than 1,000 vengeful spirits crawled out of the ground, but they were not only coming out of the ground, they were also coming out of trees and rocks. The undead were already ready to follow any orders. Sweep all the territories of the secret realm. Don't miss a single hidden creature. Clear all caves, forests, fields, mountains. The protagonist shouted orders, epically pointing his index finger forwards. All monsters must be destroyed, he added at the end. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, don't forget to put a bark and subscribe. These you say what you like. It's very motivating. Thanks. Good luck to you,